Good afternoon and welcome to my YouTube channel, Unwind and Knit With Me. My name is Lisa and I'm coming to you from Christchurch in New Zealand, which is on the South Island of New Zealand. To all my existing viewers, thank you for tuning in and welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, and please subscribe and like. That's very much appreciated. You can also follow me on Instagram and Ravelry as Unwind and Knit With Me. So welcome. Today is Thursday the 17th of February 2022. So here in New Zealand we're still very much in our summer. We have some really nice weather at the moment, so that's always really positive and encouraging. I didn't know that I was going to be able to podcast today. It's been sort of crazy busy in my life here in Christchurch recently, and my husband has finally managed to get a week off work, so we're heading away tomorrow in our motorhome, and we're heading to Nelson region, which is a bit of a seaside beach type area. So really looking forward to that. So I did want to come to you today and do a podcast, because once again it'll be a couple of weeks before I get to do another podcast. So I don't have any finished objects to show you, but I have a lot of whips that I have been working on. So yeah, not a lot of new stuff to show you, but just an update on what I've been doing. After my last podcast, I did get a couple of questions, or I have had over the last few podcasts, a couple of questions where people have asked about me, and they've actually said, tell us more about me and what I do and what my background is. So I thought I'd give you a wee little insight to a bit about me. It's not very exciting, but I did grow up in Australia, and I've been here in New Zealand for about 25 years. And I am a New Zealand resident, a New Zealand citizen, I should say. So this is very much my home. It's where I've raised 3 children. So our oldest is 30, and our youngest is nearly 22. She's a nursing student. She's the only one still at home. So that's 3 kids that we're both proud of, which is really nice. And my background, for those who are wondering, is actually pharmacy. I started working in pharmacy when I was a teenager, so probably 35 years of my life has been in pharmacy and pharmacy related type work. By trade, I'm a dispensary technician. I did get out of pharmacy for a little while and actually was a territory manager where I worked for a healthcare company. And I travelled all over the South Island, calling on pharmacies, doing staff training, selling product. So yeah, that's pretty much my background, is pharmacy and pharmaceuticals. And now I'm a stay-at-home mum and wife, I suppose. So I do get, which is why I get a lot of time to knit, because I don't actually work full-time anymore, which is really nice. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, not too exciting. So yeah, I'll endeavour to show you some of my whips. Now the first one I want to show you, it's a mission. It's really been a mission. So I showed it to you last time. I'm working on this Ember by Yuku Shimizu. That's it there. And I'm doing this in a beautiful yarn called Yarn Therapy, which I did show you on my last podcast, but I want to show you my progress. So I did post this on Instagram a few days ago, but you can see I've made some pretty good progress. So a bit of colour work, bit of lace work here, which I've really enjoyed, and then back down to this colour work. Really happy with the yarn, really happy with my colour of the colours that I've chose. It is a superwash yarn, which isn't my favourite for doing colour work. I'm really longing to get back to do my Marie Wallen which is a grippier type of woolly wool. So as much as I love this, I'll be glad to get it done, to be quite honest. But what I needed to tell you about this pattern is I haven't yet divided for the sleeves. I've still got about another 10 more rounds before I divide for the sleeves. But wow, it's been a mission. So I actually went from having around 400 stitches to 480 stitches. Then I had another increase round where I ended up with 600 odd stitches. And then my third increase round, I'm actually at the moment working with 720 stitches. So every round is literally taking me hours. And the other thing that seems never ending with it is, okay, 720 stitches, that's a lot in anyone's vocabulary. But with this colour work, I don't like, especially with sort of superwash yarn, I don't like my floats being more than 5 stitches. And unfortunately at the moment I'm working with 3 colours, and the float, if I was just to let it float, would be about 9 stitches. So I have to catch the floats for every pattern repeat. So it's seriously taken me a long time, and although, I mean, I don't dislike it, I love it because I love knitting and I love colour work, but it's seriously a really big mission, and I have slowed down a bit for the fact that I can spend 3 or 4 hours knitting and literally just get one round done. So be prepared if you do this pattern. I'm doing the size 4. Which is an extra large. It is, and I'm not normally an extra large, but I just went by the measurements. It is very boxy and oversized with a lot of positive ease. But I think even if you did the small, you're still looking at 600 odd stitches. So yeah, 720 stitches with 3 colours, catching my floats. Seriously over it. But I will persevere. And actually, the more I look at it and I look at the size of it, it's almost like a Swan Show. I'll show you the picture again, and you can see how much positive ease is in it and how boxy it is. That it's feeling more like a Swan Show than just a boxy jersey with the amount of stitches that are on it. But I also do just keep reminding myself that once I do divide for the sleeves, I'm a good 2/3 finished, so there won't be a lot of knitting once I get the next 15 rounds done. So yeah, there's my wee story behind my Ember jersey. Like I said, it's beautiful. I'm really happy with it. I will persevere. But seriously, 720 stitches with 3 different colours. Yeah, kind of a little bit over it. In saying that, that is also why I don't have any finished objects. I have actually gone back to an old project. Doing this, I have just longed to do some garter stitch in one colour, just something really plain and basic. I've had a few days and nights where I've just wanted to pick up something that's not so complicated, and oh, it's not complicated, but it's just a mission. So let me find it. Here we go. So those that have been following me for a while, a few months ago I talked about this project because I went into hospital and had some back surgery, and there was a bit of a recovery involved. So I cast on a project. It was a free pattern from Pearl Soho. This is it here, and it's called the Half and Half Shawl. It's reflecting on my blinds. Ah, there we go. And this is a big shawl, a big wrap that is 100% garter stitch. And the only thing that you really have to think about is some short rows. You can see that there. So every second row I do a German short row, but the whole thing is just garter stitch. So I have, they're the 2 colours that I've chosen as well, by the way. It's a dark blue and a nice sort of taupey grey kind of colour. This is 100% New Zealand merino. It's by Ashfords. Ashfords are the people, Ashfords are world famous for their spinning wheels, which I've talked about before. I do have an Ashford spinning wheel, but they do a beautiful merino. So that's it there, the Ashfords. It's 4-ply, and this is what I've gone to the last couple of days. I've dug it back out. I didn't get very much done when I did cast it on, and I'm actually going to take this away with me because we're away. We have a motorhome, and you can't sort of spread out too much. So I wanted something easy. I'm really looking forward to some easy knitting for a week. So I am going to take this project with me, and I did dig it out for the fact that it's just garter stitch. Yay. So that's that project. It is a long-term project. I can't imagine that I'm going to get it finished too quickly, but it's nice just to have something to go to, you know, your little comfortable place where you don't have to think too much and it's not too stressful. So that's that project, my half and half shawl. Like I said, that is a free pattern from Pearl Soho. So if you like that type of thing, you can download that for free. It's quite nice and easy. Okay. The other thing is, if you've been following me, you'll know that my 2022 project or challenge that I set for myself was to do my first Marie Wallen project. And the project that I've cast on is that Ashlyn. There's a picture of it there. It's the front picture on her book Cherish. And I bought that as a kit from the Woolly Thistle in America, and they sell beautiful woolly wool. They sell a lot of Shetland wool and UK breeds, but they do sell Marie Wallen's British breeds. So I haven't got any of this done since my last episode because of that very big project that I'm doing that I don't even want to look at the moment, to be quite honest. I'm just so over it. But I will just show you again. Not much progress, but it's looking really good. And I'm really excited about getting back to it. Like I said, I think for colour work, I love this woolly wool. I love the smell of it. I love the feel of it. I love that it's a bit rough and toothy and grippy, and that is certainly my preference for colour work. But not much progress, but as I've said before, this is my 2022 project, so I am giving myself most of the year to get it done. I would like to do progress reports with every episode, and I would have liked to have shown you a little bit more, so I apologise for that. And because we're away for 10 days, I don't know that I'm going to get much of that done while we're away, but I will keep you posted for sure on how I'm going with that. The other little project that I showed you in my last episode that I've gone to when I've had to go out is just these little socks. Self-striping yarn by Narrative Yarns. It's a dyer here in Christchurch, and that's called, I think it was called Cherry Blossom. But I have made a little bit of progress on there, and I have kind of stopped myself because I do need to measure and think about what heel I'm going to do. I am going to do the shorty socks. I showed you that last episode. Shorty sock sets. I should take it out of the plastic. For those that didn't see my last episode, that's it there. Shorty sock set. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and it's Summerlee Designs. Summerlee Design Co. So what I've decided to do there, because that self-striping yarn, it's hand dyed, it is quite expensive, but it's worth it. So what I'm going to try to do is get 2 pair of shorties out of the one skein rather than a pair of long socks, and then you always have leftovers. I'm actually going to stretch it out and be a little bit more economical and get 2 pairs of socks out of the 1 skein of wool. Yeah, so once again, I apologise that I haven't made too much progress and I haven't got too much to show you on that one. I think that's whip number 3. 1, 2, no, it's actually whip number 4. So I'm not a very monogamous knitter, am I? I have so many projects. I'll show you my next one. Okay, my next work in progress, I also showed you in my last episode, is from the Shetland Trader by Gudrun Johnston, and it's the Smore Beret, and this is my second Smore Beret. That's a picture of it there. It's lovely, isn't it? So this is my second one that I'm doing, and I would have liked to have had it finished, but I haven't. But I have made some good progress. So I'm doing this in Purple Sprouting yarn. That's it there. And this is Purple Sprouting's Blue Face Leicester, which is quite unique here in New Zealand because it's brought in from the UK and then hand dyed here by Purple Sprouting. And they're now doing mini skein sets, so perfect for colour work, perfect for small projects. So all these colours have come from the mini skein set, except for the black. But that's it there. The blue, the orange, blue, yellow, and there's a peach. I don't know if you can see it, just through the middle there, there's sort of a peach and a purple line. But I'm really, really happy with this. So it is a superwash yarn, but it's not slippery like my other project that I'm working on. It still has a little bit of grip and it's a little bit toothy without being sort of too rustic, is what I want to say. It's beautiful for colour work. The stitch definition is outstanding, as you can see. Beautiful stitch definition, but it still has a bit of a woolly feel. It sort of feels halfway between, say, the Marie Wallen British Breeds and a superwash yarn. I really recommend it, and I really think it's worth, if you like colour work, but you don't like the rustic sort of grippy yarns, I'd really recommend trying this because I think it sort of sits halfway in between. So that's it there, Purple Sprouting. It's a New Zealand company, and it's the Blue Face Leicester. So I apologise for my description. I need to do some more study on the wool types, like woolen spun and worsted spun and superwash and non-superwash. But I know that this is a superwash, but it isn't as slippery and shiny as most of them. So so that's my Smore Beret, and I'm almost at the point where I'm just about to start the decreasing for the crown, and that actually goes quite quickly. So for sure this will be a finished project on my next podcast. And that's all my whips. Wasn't as bad as I thought. It is actually. Now the other thing I want to share with you is something that I'm going to cast on, and I am going to take this away with me because it's a small project. But in my last podcast I showed you a whole lot of patterns for the gnomes, and this is Gnome Deployment. There he is there, and this is the one I'm going to cast on. And I'm going to cast this on in a DK weight yarn, so he will be a bit bigger. So if you 4-ply or 8-ply, the only thing that varies is actually the size. And I have got quite a collection of DK New Zealand, 100% New Zealand DK wool. And they're all just single. I've only got one ball of each colour. So perfect for doing small projects like this. So they're the 3 colours that I've chosen. So there's that yellow, blue and rust. So they're the 3 colours that I'm going to do this little guy in. And I have been told that they're really quick projects, like a weekend and you can whip one up. The only thing that I'm not sure about is I really don't like DPNs. And I think it's because I haven't used DPNs very much. I tend to use the really small circulars. I have a few sets of the chalgoo needles, and I have the little shorties for very small circumference. So I am going to give them a go, but I do think there's parts of it that are so narrow that I am going to have to use DPNs. So, you know, it'll be new for me. It'll be a bit of a test for me, something new. So that's what's happening, with my gnome. I am going to cast him on. The other thing, just a wee reminder, is as you know, I'm a big fan of the Woolly Thistle, and they're running a knit along that starts tomorrow. So Friday the 18th it starts, and they are going live on Facebook for the start of the knit along, and I think it's 1 o'clock their time, 1 o'clock New York time, I think. So I won't be around. We'll probably be on the road, or I'll be into my holiday. So I won't be around for the actual live cast on part, but it does start tomorrow if you're interested. And what it is, it's a colour work knit along, small project, so beanies, gloves, cowls, anything, but it has to be colour work, and you can use any yarn that you like. You don't have to use their yarn. And the project that I'm doing is the Buness Beret. There's a picture of it there. It's just gorgeous. And I have chose my colours, which I showed you in my last podcast. So, on a normal given time, berets do knit up quite quickly. Although this one, the one that I'm halfway through, I haven't finished, but I do hope to finish that, and then I am going to do this knit along, and it goes for a month, so it's the 18th of February through to the 18th of March. And if you jump on and join their knit along, you can do it through their web page or through their Facebook page. You get a free pattern just for joining, and they also do have prizes, a first, second and third prize. So you can post in their Facebook page, and I think they're just randomly selecting prizes. So yeah, that's quite exciting and worth doing. And also on my last podcast, I told you that I wanted to do a bit of spinning, and I went as far as purchasing a sliver. This is the one I got here. It is hand dyed. It's 100% merino. So it's 100% New Zealand merino, and it's been hand dyed here in Christchurch by somebody, I don't know who, at the Spinners and Weavers Guild. So I do like to support them. They're a really a real neat little organisation that we've got here in Christchurch. So that's it there. I split it in two. Weighed it, so there was 50 grams in each, and I'm only halfway through my first 50 grams, but there, have a look at that. Is that going to focus? Yep, isn't it beautiful? I'm quite excited. So that's my first lot, sort of halfway through my first 50 grams, and then I'll do another, and then I'll ply them both together. And I'm hoping to get it to about a finger in weight, where hopefully I'll get about 400 metres. One of my viewers did say to me, before we know it, Lisa, it'll be unwind and knit and spin with me. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not a big spinner. It's just something, I have got my spinning wheel out, it's in the lounge, and every now and then I just sit there and spin for 10 or 15 minutes, and I find it really quite relaxing and quite soothing, but I don't think it'll ever take over my passion for knitting. It's just a little wee sideline. But I do encourage you, I know there's a lot of people that have got a wheel at home gathering dust, or in the basement, or in a wardrobe, and it hasn't seen the light of day like mine for about 10 years. So yeah, I hope I can encourage someone to get their wheel out and have a wee go, because it's reminded me just how much I did enjoy it when I learnt to do it. Yeah, and I think, like I said, we're in the middle of our summer, so knitting and spinning, it's sort of, I don't get to do as much of it in the summer as I would in the winter. So I can kind of just picture myself having the fire going and a cup of tea and doing a wee bit of spinning when the weather's cold and miserable outside. So I will keep you posted on how I go with my spinning, but it's yeah, I'm really enjoying it, so that's where I'm at with that. I don't know if I've talked to you about before, but Spin Cycle is available here in New Zealand, but it's seriously expensive. I know in America that it's a really popular brand, but here in New Zealand, I've got a couple here. So I think they're roughly 200 metres, and we're paying very close to 50 New Zealand dollars for one skein, which is a lot of money, because I would normally pay around $35 for 400 metres. So it is really very expensive. But I had a friend of mine who had 4 random skeins that she wanted to sell. She was going through some of her stash and being quite sensible and advertising some yarn that, you know, that she had purchased. So I thought it was a good opportunity for me to try Spin Cycle, because it was a wee bit cheaper than had I bought it in the shop. But they're the 4 colours that I got. Yeah. Can you see where I'm going with this? It's a wee little fade happening. And I'm not a big fan of fades, to be quite honest, but a friend of mine recently did a shawl, and I have someone in mind. I've got a very dear friend who loves shawls. I'm not a big shawl wearer myself, but I thought this would be perfect because she's quite special, so it would be a really special gift. I'll just get the pattern. Okay, so the shawl that I'm talking about is called the Botanic Shawl, and it's by Stephen West. And there's a wee picture of it there that I was able to find. Okay, so that's the Botanic Shawl. They're my 4 colours that I'm going to use, but I do need to pick one colour that's the contrast colour, the one colour that sort of holds it all together. Which I haven't decided on. I was thinking maybe pulling out the dark brown and maybe using a dark brown to tie it all together. Not quite sure, but I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I have never bought Spin Cycle before. I've never had any in my possession. So I am quite excited. To use it. I feel quite lucky that I was able to get it a little bit cheaper than had I bought it retail, because I had a friend clearing out her stash. But yeah, if I can get that contrast colour before I head away tomorrow, I may take it away with me and start it, but I don't know. But that's what would you call that? A new acquisition. It's an acquisition that I've got. So yeah, I have broken my little promise not to spend too much money this year on yarn and use what's in my stash, but instead I'm using what was in somebody else's stash. So I'm not sure if that counts. I'm sure it does. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And the other thing, I'm really, really wanting to cast on something with a lot of stockinette stitch. And I think the desire for that has come from doing my Ember that is, I don't even know the word to use. It's not technical, but it's not relaxing with all that carrying floats and 720 stitches. So I'm really keen just to cast on something with a lot of stocking stitch. And I did show you this one last time, and I have pulled it to the front of my basket. And it's by Isabelle Kraemer, and it's called Fajola. And there's a lot of stockinette stitch in that, but there is that wee bit of detail down the sleeve. And I have, in my last podcast, I showed you this, and I put it in my knitting journal as a project that I do want to do this year. And I'm going to use this yarn, this 5-ply Guernsey yarn that I bought from the Woolly Thistle. And I do have enough in that one cone to do that project. So I'm really keen to cast this one on. And like I said, I think the desire for that has come from doing just too much complicated lace work and colour work. So I might have that cast on by the next time I see you. I think that's pretty well me for today. I do feel a wee bit rushed, and it is because I am a little bit rushed, but I really did want to bring something. I did want to upload something before I went away, because it's really going to be a couple of weeks before I'm back home in the comfort of my home. I'm not confident enough with my IT and my technology to actually do a podcast from on the road. And also I'd have to go to a cafe to use their internet. So best that I do one before we leave home. Yeah, so it may be a bit rushed, and I do apologise for that. But I thought I'll give it my best shot. I think that's just about everything. I'm sure I've forgotten something, but I just wanted to give you an update on my whips. I do thank you for viewing my podcast and for following me on YouTube. Really means a lot. So like I said, if you're a new viewer, please subscribe, like the podcast if you're enjoying the content, and yeah, follow me on YouTube and Ravelry as Unwind and Knit with me. Oh, there was one more thing, but it may not be till I get home. I am going to do my first giveaway. So I have put a wee bundle together, and it's really exciting what I've got. I think I'll do it on Instagram. My daughter said I should do it on Instagram. But it'll either be on Instagram or it'll be on Ravelry under our 2022 challenge. I think that's where I want to go with it. I want to do it on Ravelry under the 2022 challenges. But I'll bring you, I just wanted you to know that I'm onto it. I've got the parcel together. I just have to pull a few details together. But I will do my first giveaway, and I will post that and bring it to you before the end of February, which will be my next podcast. It'll be the end of February, at the very latest, the first week in March. But I'll have all the details, and I will post that for, yeah, my first giveaway. And sorry if I say an arm, but yeah, that's me. So thank you very much. Please like, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. I'll try to get some photos of my wee little road trip while I'm away, and I'll be able to post those for you too on my next podcast. For all of you that are viewing from overseas that may want to see a few little snippets of the South Island of New Zealand. So yeah, let's just hope we can get through this trip and stay safe, because we have got Omicron in our community now. I didn't want to really bring that up, but I don't think it's something that we can ignore. It's here, and yeah, it's probably a matter of time before we get it, or before someone we know's got it. So on that note, please stay safe, be kind. Be kind to each other, because there's nothing we can do about it. We've just got to live with it. But I think we can also maybe just minimise the impact that it might have, yeah, a little bit. So, yeah, mask up, hand sanitise, yeah, do what we have to do. So on that note, stay safe, stay happy, get lots of knitting done, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now. Thank you.